Welcome back, everybody. It's Monday.
Another week.
Another week. Today, we're recapping hashtag UFC Fight Island 4. A night of quite a bit was revealed to us,
Yes.
especially about women's bantamweight.
Yes, it was a big night for that division, and, well, really kind of went the complete opposite of how I predicted. So,
And exactly how I did.
yes.
So, just to break down the results of last night's fights, we started with our boy Dusko Todorovic. He smashed Daquan Townsend via TKO, ground and pound, 3 minutes and 15 seconds into the second round. Bantamweight action following that. We had two young guys, Kyler Phillips, who was 1-0 in the UFC, getting a win over Cameron Elsay, who was making his debut, via TKO, punches and elbows, 44 seconds into the second round. Then, Jermaine Durandamy, former title challenger, former featherweight title holder, inaugural women's featherweight champion. A big win here for her with her first submission in her career over Juliana Pena via guillotine in the third round.
That was the surprise of the evening.
Yeah, I would agree. Our co-main event, big boys at heavyweight. This fight didn't go how we thought it would.
Not at all. Absolutely snooze fest.
Carlos boy Felipe getting a unanimous decision win over Yorgan de Castro. And our main event,
Wow.
the preacher's daughter, Holly Holm, showing that she's still got it.
The performance of the evening.
Yep. And she gets a unanimous decision win over Irene Aldana. It wasn't even close.
No.
But we'll get more into that a little bit later. But we're going to start with the news.
The news.
Mostly flyweight. All flyweight news this week.
And all UFC 255.
Yep. So it's pretty limited time frame here and weight division, obviously.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with a bit of bad news. Our boy,
The Ohio boy.
Cody Garbrandt, is officially out of his booked title fight with Davison Figueiredo at flyweight. That was supposed to, as of now, headline UFC 255. He is out. He tore his bicep.
Yep. Very injury prone as of late for Cody, it seems.
Yeah, he does seem to get injured a decent amount. He apparently tried to ask the UFC brass to rebook it for the end of the year.
Yeah.
And he said, understandably, the UFC decided to just go with the replacement fighter.
The show goes on.
And that replacement fighter is number 5 ranked, Alex Perez, I believe.
Stud.
So I'm curious, Dom, what are your thoughts about this? Obviously, it sucks that Cody's out, but give your quick thoughts on Cody, but also Alex stepping in here to main event a card, it seems like.
Sucks for Cody, of course, the guy we've met, the guy from Ohio, the champion at bantamweight, yada, yada, yada. We love the guy. Hopefully he heals up soon. He didn't seem too discouraged, acted like it was a relatively easy injury. I don't think he has to undergo surgery or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. So not too long of a layoff. So hopefully he gets back in there. He said that they promised him the title shot once he's healthy. So it looks like he's going to be taking on the winner of Davison and Perez. It should be a good fight. Perez is on a streak right now, I think 3 or 4 in a row.
He's won 3 in a row.
And, of course, we know how dangerous Davison is.
Yeah.
So it'll be a fun fight to break down regardless when the time comes.
Agreed. Alex Perez, I think, he'll be an underdog, obviously, considering how Davison has looked in his last 2, I guess, title fight performances with Benavidez.
Any flyweight will be.
But Alex Perez is on a 3-fight win streak. He TKO'd Jussier Formiga via leg kicks at UFC 250 back in June. Before that, getting an arm triangle choke submission over Jordan Espinoza and a decision win before that against Mark De La Rosa. His last loss was actually to Joseph Benavidez, the Ultimate Fighter finale back in 2018. He lost via TKO in the first round there. He's 24-5. I think he definitely presents a challenge for Davison here, but it'll definitely be an uphill battle for him as Davison is scary.
Yes, terrifying.
Yeah. As for Cody, I think one of the reasons Cody isn't too upset about this is because he was promised basically that he would get the title shot when he's recovered.
Yeah.
whether you like that or not, considering what our next bit of news is going to be. Ultimately, I'm sure he'll be fine. This fight, whether it's him versus Davison or him versus Perez, sounds like it's going to happen.
And if anything, it gives him a little bit more time to make sure his weight cut goes right. Because at the end of the day, he's doing an extra 10 pounds. He's never done that, or at least in the UFC, so gets a little extra time.
Yeah, agreed. But I'm still excited for that fight with Perez.
Yep.
If anything, it feels a little more warranted, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely considering it's an actual contender in the flyweight division.
Like, obviously, we're big Cody guys, and we were excited for Cody to go down and try to win a belt at flyweight, but we were also, like, reluctant to say it was a good call for him in his career. We thought it might not be the best move to make. Not that we are...
Especially when Davison's the champion.
Yeah, and it was an so in a way, like, I'm kind of just happy that, like, it's an actual flyweight contender getting this shot here. I know Cody being a bigger star, it's going to probably hurt the pay-per-view buys and whatnot, because you got Perez, who's pretty much unknown to the casual fan, while Davison is somewhat known at this point due to that performance he had, that scary performance against Benavidez, but he's still the flyweight champion, and you know how underlooked flyweights are. But I'm still excited for that. It'll be nice to see two guys get a shot to main event a card that normally wouldn't.
Yeah, very true.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to lead us into our second bit of news, because it's more flyweight action.
And more UFC 255.
On UFC 255.
It's flyweight night.
I am stoked for this announcement. So basically, before Cody got the title shot, everybody was calling for number 2 ranked Brandon Moreno to get that shot.
I still think that's what it should be.
I'm not disagreeing. But he didn't get it. He wasn't originally booked for 255, so that's why Alex Perez is stepping in. He's actually number 4 ranked, Perez.
Yeah.
But Moreno does have a fight on that same card. He's going up against a surging prospect.
Yes. Oh, yes.
My boy, Brandon Raw Dog Royval. So, we just saw Royval a little over a week ago now.
Yep.
As he was the third fight of the main card on UFC 253.
Fight of the night against Kai France.
Awesome fight. Royval looked great. Kind of came back from a little adversity. He basically got dropped.
Yeah, there was like a double knockdown in the first round.
So, but overall, he looked incredible there.
Another second round submission.
Mm-hmm. So, Dom, what are kind of your thoughts on this fight announcement?
I love this fight all across the board. Brandon versus Brandon. Brandon squared.
Yep.
The only thing I would have flip-flopped, and again, I'm not like angry or upset at the decisions, because again, I love that the flyweights are getting this pay-per-view stage to showcase themselves. But I think Brandon should have gotten Brandon Moreno. I can't just say Brandon, I guess. Brandon Moreno should have got the title shot and stepped in for Cody, and Perez should have taken on Brandon Royval.
Yeah,
but either way, like, I'm not upset at the call.
Yeah, I see why you would say that. I mean, that does seem more like obvious, but I'm fine with it how it is, because this fight's huge, especially for Royval. He's only fought twice in the UFC, and he's already number 7 ranked at flyweight.
This dude's resume after 2 fights,
and he's fighting the number 1 guy in the division.
It's crazy.
This is a guy that 4 months ago was working a job. He wasn't a full-time fighter. He was working a full-time job.
Yeah.
And he cried. He broke down after his debut win. He didn't think it was good enough to get the $50K bonus. So he was thinking he was going to have to go into work the next day.
Yeah.
He ends up getting that bonus, is able to focus full-time. What a story.
And now he's 2 for 2. Bonuses in both of his first 2 UFC fights. 2 second-round submissions. 2 contenders, one of them being a former title challenger.
Yep.
The sky's the limit for
Brandon
Royval.
I love Brandon Royval.
Big test for him.
It's a big test. Yeah. Moreno, he's a young guy as well. He's 26 years old.
The Assassin Baby.
Yeah, the Assassin. I hate that nickname. But he's 17-5-1 in his career. 3 of those losses came at the very beginning. He started out 3-3 as a professional mixed martial artist. And then he even had some growing pains in the UFC. He wins his first 2 fights to Luis Smolka and Ryan Benoit, which are 2 very good guys in that division. But then he beats Dustin Ortiz, another just really tough guys. So he comes in with 3 big wins, 3 guys that have made a name for themselves in flyweight over the years. Then he gets brought back down, 2 back-to-back losses. Sergio Pettis, who's now at Bellator, and Alexander Pantoja, another just
he's ranked
stellar
5th,
dude. Yeah.
So.
But he's able to bounce back from that. He gets a TKO. Actually goes and fights at LFA in June of 2019.
Just a 1-fight stint?
Yep.
Huh.
Fights Michael Perez. Gets that TKO win. Comes back to the UFC. Has a draw with Askar Askarov, another guy who's
number 3 ranked.
That guy
undefeated.
could have gotten a title shot. And it makes sense. And then he's had back-to-back unanimous decision wins over Kai Kara France and Jussier Formiga.
Yep.
This is a tough matchup for Royval, but he's the one really with everything to gain.
He's riding
from this.
a high right now, man.
Moreno is taking a risk here.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like a necessary risk because it doesn't seem like the UFC is quite bought into giving him a title shot yet, or else they probably would have done it already. So he gets really, Royval's the one with the hype here.
Yeah.
So I always say, like, even though this is huge for Royval because it's a guy that's ranked number 1 and he's ranked number 7, so competitively he's the one with everything to gain here.
Yeah.
But on the flip end, I think right now Royval is a more well-known name in the division than Moreno is.
I mean, if Royval can come in and finish Moreno like his first 2 fights, the number 2 ranked guy, this guy could have 3 UFC fights and get a title shot next.
And on the flip end, Moreno, if he beats Royval, who even though is ranked
then he
number
just
7,
justifies his case.
But to me, it would feel like it would be the first time one of his wins has felt like substantial.
Yeah.
At least in the casual viewer mind,
Well, you don't get many flyweights with hype behind him, so he gets to take on Royval, who has all this hype right now. Can I shut down the hype train and prove to everyone, hey, to all the people that don't pay attention to our division or something, I've been here.
Yeah.
I've been fighting the best of the best for years. So
I
like it.
Yeah. Now will likely, really, this whole card's stacking up to be flyweight night.
I love it. I really love it.
Yeah.
So the co-main is Valentina defending the flyweight belt against Jennifer Maia.
Yep.
And then I can only imagine that Moreno and Royval's on the main card.
Yeah, I would assume.
So it's just a matter of what the other 2 fights are. But
they
might as well just do all 5 of them.
But I love that, they're really trying to push flyweight here.
They're getting the stage. It's awesome.
Yeah, and hopefully these guys will come. I have no doubt that especially these 2 are going to come out and bring it.
Yeah, and that's the November 21st, so the week before, or the week leading into Thanksgiving. So nice little treat before we feast.
Yep, exactly. And that's pretty much it for the news. And now it's time to break down the card from Saturday.
Oh yes.
So we're going to start here, Dom, with Dusko Todorovic. He smash.
He's
Daquan Townsend, who is now 0-4 in the UFC. Very tough for him.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give your thoughts on the fight. I see you got the notepad out.
The notepad is full.
Yep.
First line of the whole night. Dusko has some heavy hands. Heavy written in all caps.
Yeah.
Nasty combinations in that dirty boxing.
Yep.
Clinch range. I had him up 1-0 easily going into round 2. Comes out, I wrote, this man is for real. He had a huge takedown and easily transitioned to the full mount. And from there, just landed the ground and pound until the ref had seen enough. Gets the TKO win, 3 minutes, 15 seconds into round 2. He's good. Dusko is very good, and he's undefeated for a reason, and we saw it last night. It's not like he was... Just because Daquan was 0-3 in the UFC, he's a game fighter.
He was
been there and done that. Super experienced.
Well, now I believe he's 22-12. He was 22-11, I believe, before this fight.
Yeah, he had over 30 fights, and Dusko had only
that's
had
a guy
9.
that's an experience advantage. He was an older guy.
Yeah.
I know he was 0-3, but again, 2 of those losses were to also guys who are kind of on their rise right now. So this was, I said this could have been a fight that, it was a dangerous one for Dusko in a way because he's the one with the hype going in. And Daquan could have totally, he has 3 UFC fights. This was Todorovic's debut if you don't count the Contender Series. But he proved it.
Oh, yeah, he did. looked about as real as you could have looked.
And the heavy hands comment is the one that stuck out to me. That was what I noticed when I was watching, because this is the beauty of watching these fights without fans.
Yes.
Look, we love having fights with fans, obviously. Like the big fights.
Yeah.
The ones where like the fans add something to it. But I have found a lot of beauty in watching without fans.
You can hear every single punch land, every breath.
May
the
I even
coaches.
say, I prefer it.
Some would say it's a hot take.
I would agree.
And it's one that I think both of us agree on.
Yeah. So this is a good example of that, because if you had a crowd who are going, being loud,
Yeah.
you may not understand how hard Todorovic is punching. I mean, you can see the damage he's doing to Townsend, but
Yeah.
when there's no crowd and you can hear every shot,
It hurt me.
that guy's got freaking cement in his hands, man.
He looked good defensively, like hardly got touched, clean striking, and he showed off his wrestling. Like, this dude could be a threat.
Yeah.
Again, undefeated for a reason.
Yeah,
I don't care
and
who
guess
he's
what?
fought.
This is a middleweight guy.
And this is the guy, by the way, before the UFC had beaten Michel Pereira.
Yeah.
What if we got a rematch?
I don't know if I'm ready to give him top. I mean, I know Pereira's not he's not top 15, I don't think, but he's kind of in that bubble, that top 20, I guess. I don't know if Todorovic is quite. I mean, look, he probably is ready, but it's kind of like the Hamzat effect, where it's like, okay, you got to at least give him a couple. Don't throw him to the wolves quite yet,
But in this case,
I know he beat him before, but
it could be fun.
It's been a few years.
But yeah, Dusko's got a few more fights still before he's in those rankings.
But hey, man,
he's got the potential.
This is middleweight.
Yeah.
This is the division that Hamzat's been taking all the hype down the line. Could be seeing Todorovic versus Chimaev.
We could be.
Both
young guys.
This is what we love about doing like these kind of cards, is because the sky's the limit for this kid.
Yeah, that's the best part about these fight nights. People look at the cards and they're like, "Who?" And
now
we're here to tell you. We're here to tell you who.
Yeah,
okay?
Guess what? Now you know.
Yeah.
If you don't know, now you know.
Yeah. Shout out Dana White.
Yep. So after that, here's another fight. Two guys that were pretty unknown.
This was our predicted fight of the night.
Yeah. Do you think it held up to that?
Well, now that
I don't know if it was quite fight of the night. I'm not saying it's not a bad fight.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I think JDR and Pena might have took it.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning toward.
Yeah. But anyways, our second fight, bantamweight, Kyler Phillips, who was 1-0. Now he's 2-0.
Yep.
After defeating Cameron Elsay, who was making his UFC debut. TKO, second round, 44 seconds in. So what were your thoughts on this? What do you have written down there?
Kyler started insanely fast, and from there just controlled the pace the entire first round. He had a big takedown and held a lot of top control. Landed really good ground and pound. It was like the last 2.5-ish minutes, I think, of the first round. So I had him up 1-0 going into the second. And then in the second round, he didn't waste no time.
He really didn't.
He grabbed a hold of the body lock, took down Cameron with ease, probably within the first 20 to 30 seconds. Literally went straight into top mount, and very similar to how Dusko did, starts landing the ground and pound, and the ref had seen enough. I mean, literally 44 seconds into round two. TKO is a guy that had been coming in. He was 10-4, all 10 of his wins via finish, so a dangerous guy. Kyler Phillips is called the Matrix for a reason. He didn't really get hit much. The first round was exciting, but he ended up gaining control. And from there, the fight was his.
Yeah, he looked composed. That was my takeaway. He definitely looked like he was ready for prime time.
Yeah.
Elsay looks like he still needs to develop.
Get a little greener.
Yeah, he's a little greener. I didn't see as much as I thought I would from Elsay, and I saw a lot more than I thought I would have saw from Phillips.
Yeah.
Obviously, I predicted Elsay to win the fight.
Yep, same.
But for Kyler, man, that was a very impressive win.
Yeah.
Not quite the kind of win that I think is going to earn him like that top 15 or whatever, but he's quietly on the rise.
Right.
2-0 in the UFC now. He's got the look. I saw some tweets calling him the real street Jesus and stuff
He looked
like that.
Elias Theodora. That's
Yeah,
what he looked like.
yeah, he did kind of look like him. But I heard people calling him the real street Jesus and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So that's gonna help him if if you recognize the guy. You
Yeah.
know, he's got that look that you kind of recognize. And it was a very impressive win. That nickname, the Matrix, and he really showed it.
Yeah. He looked good, man.
Yeah, just very composed. That was kind of my takeaway from his performance.
Yep.
Elsay, I think, will be a guy that will bounce back.
I think so.
I
Tough
think
division.
It's Bantam.
Some would say the deepest division. Maybe not the best, because that's probably lightweight, but in terms of depth, all the way to 15,
Yeah,
ooh, it's right up there.
I mean, it's definitely in the top 2, 3.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Elsay will bounce back from this. Hopefully, still an exciting guy. Still 10 wins, all
Bringing
10
the fight.
finishes.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
he'll definitely learn from this and improve. We would say.
Yes.
We'll see him again.
Oh, yeah.
But for the fact, first fight this is his first fight, and he was on the main card of a fight night.
Yeah,
like,
man.
no shame in that.
Right. Exactly. On ESPN, by the
On
way. Not just
ESPN, yeah.
ESPN Plus. So, he'll be
Now,
all right.
here's where we get into some of our big takeaways here.
Yep.
First women's bantamweight fight of the night.
Great fight.
Jermaine Durandamy doing kind of what I thought she would do, but at the same time completely shocking me.
Yeah.
With a third round guillotine submission, put
Put her
Juliana Pena
Yeah.
to sleep.
to sleep. Unconscious.
I just want to know. This was my fight of the night.
Yeah, I agree.
I will say that.
Most competitive.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Is these first two fights not super competitive. I mean, Elsay had his moments, but it was very much Kyler's fight. And you'll see in the next two, it was pretty much the same. This was the one fight that felt competitive.
Yeah.
But man, JDR.
She's good, man. Her striking's unreal.
Yeah. So what were your kind of notes on the fight?
So just as the fight basically they probably already know this, but I take notes as the fight progresses.
Yeah. That's why I like to get your thoughts first, because I don't do that.
Yeah.
So mine might be a little more scattered, but you're able to help me kind of
like go.
Oh yeah, I
in
remember
order.
that. I remember that.
So GDR comes out automatically. Yeah, I'll say automatically. She controlled the striking and the range using her kicks. She's long. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
If you've not seen GDR, she's I think 5'9", 5'10". She fought in featherweight. Was the
She's
featherweight
huge
champ.
for bantamweight,
Yeah.
man.
So she landed some good shots. Juliana did secure a takedown with 30 to 40 seconds left in the round and had some clinch control, but overall GDR just had the better of the striking exchanges, so that one little takedown at that very end just wasn't enough. So I had it 1-0. Then Juliana brought the pressure as soon as round 2 started. Stalked down GDR, pressed her up against the cage, took her down, and had about 3 minutes of control time, landed good ground and pound, tried to lock in a submission. So she looked really good in round 2. So therefore,
It's 1-1.
it's 1-1. Going into round 3.
That's how I had it too. I don't think you could have it any other way, really.
And really, the entire first half of the third round was very close. Very hard to score who was winning that third round. Juliana was continuing to pressure forward but couldn't land the takedown yet.
Yeah.
And then she finally closes the distance and gets her arms around GDR for the double leg. But then GDR shocked just about every person watching last night.
Mm-hmm.
Locked in the guillotine as Juliana was going for the takedown. And it was tight. Dustin Poirier tweeted last night and said, Gilly City. We know he's a fan of the guillotine. And put Pena to sleep.
JDR's got that gorilla grip, bro.
Yeah. Juliana Pena is known for how good of a grappler she is and how good she is at submissions.
Yeah.
So for her to get submitted and put to sleep by a Muay Thai world champion striker, hey now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously on one hand, like for Pena, that's got to sting a little bit.
Yeah.
That was JDR's first ever win by submission.
And Juliana could, had she secures that takedown and just holds some top control, it would have been enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
With a minute and a half left in the round to get a takedown like that, she could have won the fight.
Yeah. My takeaway here was, as impressive as JDR's win was and as impressive of a performance and a fight that it was overall, Juliana showed me a lot here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember from Friday, but you picked Juliana to win, I picked JDR, but really even though I picked JDR, my prediction for the fight was not very correct outside of picking the winner.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought JDR was going to, I don't want to say dominate, but kind of like how Kyler controlled that fight with Elsey, I thought that would be how it would be for JDR, but I did say round 1
Yeah.
TKO, so obviously I thought she was going to pretty much starch her.
Juliana didn't even look necessarily bad on the feet, but Jermaine is just so good.
I mean, JDR gave Amanda Nunes problems.
So
on
it's
the feet.
hard to look good striking against a striker as good as Jermaine.
That's what I'm saying.
Because Juliana pressured forward and landed some shots as she's
and it was definitely
was
definitely having a hard time trying. Or I shouldn't say. She knew. I think she knew it was going to be hard to close that distance enough to secure the takedown. But she really worked for it and got it in the second round, and then she was going to get it in the third round before she got caught. Pena showed a lot to me here. It showed me that inactivity that I was speaking a lot about.
She still got it.
She still got it, and
only
really,
her second loss in the UFC.
Yeah, and I mean you're talking about a killer in JDR who.
And then her only other loss is Valentina.
Yeah.
So, don't sleep on Juliana Pena.
So first off, what is next for JDR here? Because she's in a pretty awkward situation.
There's only one fight. There's one fight to make.
I think I know what it is.
For the winners of both women's fights and the losers, it's really easy, in my opinion. You want me to lay it out?
Yep.
I'll lay it out for you.
Because I think we're going to have the same predictions here.
It's really simple, and I love when it's simple. Now, I love, getting out there and making wild, crazy, this is what the fight should be now, and here's why.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's real simple. Let me lay out the steps.
Yep.
Then this is going to lead me into the main event, so, obviously we have to go over one more fight before the main event, but just know Holly Holm won, right?
Yep.
So, Jermaine and Holly fought for the inaugural Women's Featherweight Championship.
Super controversial
Very
fight.
Controversial. Jermaine gets the win via decision.
A fight that leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
Now, Jermaine's on a win streak at bantamweight. Holly Holm, on her first win streak since she beat Ronda Rousey, has not had a winning streak. That's crazy. 5 years.
Yep.
Even though she's fighting the best of the best. They're ranked number 1 and 2 at bantamweight. Rematch them, but this time at 135 pounds. Winner gets the next title shot.
Couldn't agree more.
It's easy. And for Juliana, she lost last night. Number 6 ranked Irene Aldana lost last night. Both lost to 1 and 2 respectively.
Mm-hmm.
Juliana fights Irene Aldana.
I like it.
There it is.
To me, that's pretty simple. I'll even add another.
I do like who you're looking up here, Aspen.
Just
because
I'll add another wrinkle to this. If the UFC want to push a title shot for Amanda at 135 after let's say she defends, or even if she loses to Megan Anderson, that's at featherweight.
Yeah, so she's still going to be the champ regardless.
Yeah,
here.
so we just said JDR and Holm, that's number 1 and number 2. Pena and Aldana, that's number 4 and number 6.
Yep.
So the only people in that top 6 that we don't have booked in there is Aspen Ladd and Raquel Pennington.
And they, to my knowledge, have not fought each other.
They have not.
So, there's the whole top 6 laid out for you.
You either book those two against each other, or you go ahead and give Aspen Ladd a chance at Amanda Nunes. And here's why. It's really just if they want to keep her active enough. Because, look, I will say that Amanda was tweeting after these women's fights last night.
She's going to be busy next year.
Yeah. So, obviously, she foresees possibly at least one rematch in her future with one of these two women that won on Saturday. But Raquel Pennington, someone she beat up, that was 3 years ago, but Raquel has not really earned it. I would like to see Aspen Ladd get one more win before challenging for a belt, considering that she did get TKO'd by JDR in like 16 seconds.
Well, what I like is Ketlin Vieira versus Aspen Ladd. I like that
too. I do like that.
I like that. Both coming off wins.
Yeah.
I just like when a division clearly lays itself out, and you're like, okay, this is the fight that makes the most sense. This is the next fight that makes the most sense.
For all we said about the staleness of the women's bantamweight action in comparison to basically since its inception in like 2013, it felt good after what I said would be the worst case scenario for the division, and the two women that won, JDR and Holmes, since they've kind of controlled that top echelon for years now. I thought it'd be nice to see some new blood in that title picture. but it doesn't, like, it almost still feels a little better coming off those fights. Like, the division does feel very firmly laid out.
Yeah.
That's nice to see.
And there are still prospects there that have not had title fights, but they're one away. They're two away.
I mean, Ketlin Vieira is a good example of that. Aspen Ladd, another good example of that. You continue to go down, you got more. But I'm just saying that's a good layout right there. But I guess we'll move on to our co-main event. We're sandwiched some big boys at heavyweight between these women's bantamweights. Carlos Felipe getting that unanimous decision over Yorgan De Castro. I will let you take it away, but I'm just gonna give a quick word about this fight.
A little weird.
Boring. There was not a winner.
We said someone's going to sleep.
Yeah, and I remember you go, someone is going to sleep, right? And I was like, I would assume.
Yeah, me watching almost went to sleep. That's what it was.
Now, Yorgan De Castro. These are back-to-back perplexing performances.
Just weird fights, yeah.
So, go ahead, take it away, give your thoughts.
Round 1 to me was just a feeling out round.
Which is not uncommon.
Yeah.
It happens.
Carlos Felipe controlled the pace. He controlled the octagon and landed the bigger, better shots. He had a lot of really good leg kicks.
Yeah.
So I had him up 1-0. Not a bad round, right? Round 2 was the best round of the fight. The early half of the round 2.
That's when Felipe had those. He was doing. What's the word? I'm blanking.
Combinations?
Yes, the combinations.
He had a beautiful,
right? Yeah,
beautiful combination.
When he had Yorgan backed up to the cage, right?
Oh, yeah. Heavy hands from both, but Carlos had the better of the exchanges. He started working to the body beautifully in this round 2 with his combinations. His boxing combinations in this round looked crisp.
Yeah.
Nice and crisp.
Those combinations up against cage, that was beautiful.
Continued to land the big leg kicks. Like I said, he worked the body. So he was up 2-0. Therefore, Yorgan has to come out and get a finish. Well, Yorgan comes out in round 3 and just nothing left in the gas tank. He essentially goes on to lean on Carlos Felipe for the entire third round against the cage. I shit you not, the ref stepped in and separated them at least 8 times. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah, there was a lot of chatter online that the ref was doing too much.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was stepping in like immediately when the clinch would happen.
So there were one time for each fighter. They both got separated because they had their fingers in the fence. He gave them like 2 or 3 warnings. They kept them there and he pulled them off. So I'm like, oh, okay. Usually you don't see it happen that quick, but I like it. No nonsense.
Yeah.
But then, now don't get me wrong, Yorgan wasn't doing anything. He was just leaning on Carlos. But sometimes the ref wouldn't even give it 10 seconds and he'd separate him. Yeah. You got to give him a little time to see if, maybe Carlos can flip out or reverse. Or
it was obvious while watching that
Yorgan was just doing
Yorgan's best chance was to kind of get inside, clinch him up, and try to do some dirty boxing. Because Felipe was doing a great job when there was distance.
And Yorgan just unfortunately had nothing left to even
put
together strikes.
I'm just saying that, like, strategically, what Yorgan, whether that's what he was actually trying to do, I'm not as confident about. I think he was just exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
But, again, strategically, that was his best chance to do anything.
Yeah.
And the ref, unfortunately, just... It was strange.
I'm all for, like, when nobody's doing anything, separating them, but to do it, like, literally, I think it happened at least 8 times. Yeah. That's, like, it had to have been a record. It was honestly insane. So just give him a little more time before you pull him off. But, Yorgan does win the third round. I guess you kind of have to give him the round. But Felipe did get the unanimous decision. It was a 30-27 on 2 of the judges' scorecards and a 29-28.
So really only one person agreed with your sentiment there. Weird fight.
Yeah.
Look,
Felipe didn't look bad.
Once you laid it out, because this was the one fight that I missed last night, so I had to go back and watch it. Or I shouldn't say last night, because this is Monday.
Yeah.
On Saturday night, this is the one fight I missed live, so I had to go back and watch it again, or watch it this Sunday morning. I'm glad you laid it out like that because this third round really soured the whole fight for me.
Yeah.
But Felipe did show some things. I don't want to say there wasn't a winner because Felipe
Right.
clearly won this fight.
And he was getting pissed in the third round.
Yeah.
He pulled off a little Randy Couture action, as a matter of fact.
Yes,
He
did.
slapped Jorgen right on the ass.
Slapped him right on the ass.
Yeah, he said, "Come on." 2 taps on the ass. Ref separates him. It
Yeah,
was the third round really took
basically
away from that,
Jorgen won because Felipe tapped out.
No.
But
Imagine had the ref seen that and thought he tapped.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jorgen, this is back-to-back perplexing performances for him.
Yeah, after looking so good.
The first round of the Greg Hardy fight, like he was throwing bombs.
Yeah.
And then he just stopped. And he just said no more bombs.
Yeah.
And here he just didn't seem to have
clearly gassed.
He gassed, and in a way, he just seemed like he kind of gave up.
Yeah, because you got to think, like, yeah, okay, maybe he's winning the round because he's controlling the clinch or whatever, but you're not winning the fight. You're clearly down 2-0. So,
I mean, that's especially that second round was very clear.
Yeah, so, I don't know, weird fight. Well, weird third round. The first and second round weren't bad, but the third round
I guess that's
weird.
the good. I think the third round was just really bad.
Yeah.
It just really soured a lot of it. But, you know, Felipe, good win here, good bounce back win for him.
Yeah.
De Castro, man, not a very inspiring performance.
Yeah.
I will say. I think that he's in a dangerous territory right now of potentially being cut.
Yeah.
Just because these are, maybe I'm wrong because I mean he is the co-main on this card. He opened up UFC 249, so maybe the UFC sees something.
He'll definitely get another fight, and we'll see what happens.
I just these are back to back just weird performances, and if he has another fight like this, then you
could
might
be in a weird spot.
Yeah, it might be talking about him being cut here soon. But
you know what I do like for Felipe next though?
What?
A Tai Tuivasa type fight.
Tai Tuivasa.
Now Tai's booked, right? Because we talked about he just came back.
Stefan Struve. How about Andrei Arlovsky?
Oh God.
It seems like the UFC loves throwing their prospects up against Arlovsky.
If you give the permission, then I will approve because I know Andre's your guy. So you got to sign off.
You think
on
Felipe sleeps him? I don't think Felipe got it like that. I think Arlovsky, he the pit bull, bro.
We'll see.
No, I don't know. I don't know. Felipe, you know, he's what is he now? He's 2-1 or 1-1 UFC.
Oh, let me look at my notes from
I'm pretty
Friday.
sure this was only. I think he might have lost his debut. I think this was his second fight in the promotion.
Yeah, he's 1-1 in the UFC.
Yeah. So,
but he's 9-1 overall.
Yeah. So we'll see where he goes from here. Don't have too much in mind for him. He has to really.
Yeah.
He still has to show me something a little more, I think. But with that, we move on to our main event. Big takeaway here.
Oh yes.
Holly Holm
looked as good as ever.
This is her second best performance of her career.
Second best performance of her career outside of the demolition of Ronda Rousey.
Mm-hmm. She gets the dominant unanimous decision win over the surging Irene Aldana. Even a 50-44 scorecard.
Yep, 2 50-45s and a 50-44.
So, overall, what were your thoughts on this fight?
Holly's pace was incredible. Her engagements, she was doing like 4, 5, 6 punch and kick combos. Never got tired. She's always been known for her cardio, though. I mean, she's been in a lot of wars, a lot of 5-round fights, and she never gets tired.
Mm-hmm.
Irene was feeling her out, I felt, in the first round and waiting to counter. Little did I know she would continue to fight that way for the next 4 rounds. So Holly got a late clinch control and takedown in the first round. Holly had a takedown in, I believe, every single round. And fun fact, coming into last night, Holly's personal record for significant strikes landed was 77. Last night, she landed 120 plus and became the 3rd women's fighter in UFC history to land at least 100 significant strikes and 5 takedowns in a fight. 38 years old.
That's active.
Yeah, 38 years old.
That's someone doing a marathon for 25
I
minutes.
would love to have put a little Fitbit on Holly Holm last night and see how many miles she covered. Because she was moving around that octagon. In and out. Looks so quick, so crisp. I literally, like, all my notes here, after round 2, Holly looks amazing. More of the same. Holly's body kicks are damaging. Damn, Holly looked amazing in round 5. Dominated round 5.
Yeah, the end of round 5,
almost
by the way.
Finished round 5.
She was like a shark
She
that
was
smelled blood.
going for it, dude.
I've never
Irene was
seen that.
hurt.
I've
Irene
never
was
seen
hurt.
that from Holly. Sure, the Ronda Rousey performance is always going to be...
She looked like she was in there to prove a point last night.
Outside of that Rousey fight and even her title loss to Miesha Tate, which was a great fight, I will say Holly's never really been the most exciting fighter to watch. Is that controversial to say?
It depends on who you ask.
She's always had a very point fight style. That boxing background serving her very well. Well, somewhat well. Her record in UFC is not perfect, but in her wins, it has served her very well to point fight. This was not that.
She was going for the finish.
This fight showed me there's levels.
Yeah.
Aldana, you know, I don't want to talk too bad about her, but
she had no answer.
no adjustments were
adjustments.
made. And we're not saying anything that hasn't really been said already, because I mean the talk online was very much what we're saying. Holly looked amazing, but also Aldana kind of played to Holly's strengths.
Yeah, she never did anything after round 1, after round 2, after round 3.
Because Irene
just
really,
nothing.
she just refused to cut off the cage. She kept just charging straight at Holly.
And then would circle the same way the entire fight. Never tried to cut off Holly's strong hand.
Because Holly was moving
Yeah.
a lot, so you would want to try to cut her off, but it just never happened. She
Yeah.
never adjusted. And Holly looked incredible because of it.
Yeah,
But you have to wonder if, to me, that wasn't a very inspiring performance for Aldana's fight IQ. I'll say that.
No.
It just didn't. I don't know. There was something off in my mind.
They didn't have the answers.
Yeah, I mean, look, Holly's great.
Holly's that good. Holly's corner is one of the best there is.
Yeah.
Obviously, over there with Jackson Wink.
Yeah, John Jones.
She's been training with them for 22 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
16 years old, she walked into that gym and won world titles in boxing.
She was a Gold Glove champ, I
Yeah.
believe, in boxing.
And now she's 38, looking like she's a fight away from getting another title fight in the UFC.
And I know everybody, you know, and I've even done my fair share where we complain about the Holly Holm title shots that happen a lot.
She does what
But
she
this
has
one,
to do to get
if
them.
she were to win against JDR in a rematch, or even if she beat someone like Aspen Ladd or
Yeah,
Ketlin Vieira or whoever, I mean, she kind of earned it.
yeah.
Especially this one.
It would
like
be a 3-fight win streak.
Like,
and
you know, the first title shot against Amanda Nunes, you could argue if that was really deserved. The title fight with JDR, title fight with Cyborg, like, were they really deserved? But this one, like, if she were to win one more, no doubt in my... honestly, even if she got a title shot off of this, I would still be like, I mean, that was an incredible performance.
yeah, she looked
It's
unreal.
hard to deny her.
Yeah, she still got it.
And we already did our matchmaking. I mean, Holm versus JDR2 is kind of the fight to make.
And it has to be at bantamweight.
Yeah,
At
but I wouldn't
135
mind
pounds.
seeing Holm versus Aspen Ladd, or, like I said, Holm versus Ketlin Vieira. But the fight with JDR would make a lot of sense, and I feel like both women would want to run that back, because that fight is just leaves a sour taste
Yeah.
in your mouth, you know.
Yeah.
And then for Aldana, I think a fight with Juliana Pena makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, again, but both were had a win going into last night. Lost to number 1 and number 2 respectively. Number 4 and number 6 in the division. They're not going to move up or down. It makes sense.
Yeah. But we'll see. And that's hashtag UFC Fight Island 4.
Holly Holm, performance of the night.
Oh, agreed.
I mean,
Usually, okay, so the UFC will give out performance of the night bonuses as well as a fight of the night bonus after their cards, pay-per-views, fight nights, whatever. Normally, you won't see someone in a main event or in a even like on fight nights, mostly main event, but like on pay-per-views, like usually those performance of the night bonuses are for the fighters lower on the card. So it's always saying something when someone in a main event gets a performance of the night bonus, because Holly got it.
did she?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
yeah. Performance of the night bonus for Holly Holm.
Much deserved.
Well deserved. But that's UFC Fight Island 4. And we are on to
UFC Fight Island 5.
Yep. So as for the rest of the week, Wednesday, special video time. This one's a little extra special.
When aren't they?
When aren't they?
It's the best day of the week. It's hump day.
Exactly. And we're going to be doing, basically, we're each going to give a fight for every division that excites us the most.
Yeah, just one fight. So it's not like Versus where we make a dream pay-per-view card.
Yeah.
It's not like the Who's Next where we match make for the entire top 15.
Right.
We're doing one fight. Could be a championship fight. Could just be a fight that we think would be great.
Agreed.
It could be a number 11 versus number 13.
Yeah.
But it could be a fight that we think would put on a show.
Styles make fights.
Yep.
So we're just going to give each of our thoughts on...
So we each have our own fight, obviously. So
we'll each just, for every division, give a fight that we think is the one that excites us the most.
Again, this will be more so if they have a fight booked, we're not looking into that, but we're taking their current status kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like how we do with our series. So.
Yeah. And honestly, like, if there's any other special video ideas that you guys would like us to do, send them our way. It would be nice as we keep going. Obviously, our list that we have is going to get a little sparse.
Our list is getting shorter, so we got to keep brainstorming. And then anything you guys want to hear us talk about that we haven't already talked about, or a topic that you even want us to revisit, let us know.
Yep. But Dom, tell the people. Oh, Friday as well. Sorry. Friday we will be previewing #UFC Fight Island 5. A huge fight at bantamweight.
Yes. This is a really good fight night card.
Yep.
As a whole.
Marlon Moraes, the Magic Man.
Yeah.
He's back going up against Corey Sandhagen.
Yes.
Big fight, big implications in this one. So we'll be breaking that card down, the whole main card on Friday.
Edson Barboza's back. Ben Rothwell's back.
Yeah.
Woo!
It's definitely
a good one.
It's definitely a step up in terms of name value.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll do that on Friday. So Dom, tell the people where they can find you on social media.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DCLE14. And you can find our podcast on Instagram at BelowAverageJoes _podcast. And you can find our podcast anywhere.
And if you go to my bio on Instagram or Twitter at ntbaker_, you will be taken to our link tree, where you will find links to every platform we are on, the big ones obviously, and social medias, so Spotify, Apple, Google, Anchor, YouTube, Instagram, it's all on there. So go check out those links. If you go to our Anchor page, there are a lot more platforms we're on that are just not as well known. So if you want to listen to us on one of those, go there. Go to Anchor page, you'll have a full list there. But yeah, again, that's at ntbaker_, and you can find that in the bio. But with that, we're out, and we're going to see y'all on